Welcome back to my channel, Celebes. Please share and subscribe and press the bell icon for new updates. At 73, George Strait finally talks about Willie Nelson. George Strait was born George Harvey Strait Sr. on May 18, 1952 in Poteet, Texas. He grew up in the small town of Peoria. Strait's simple beginnings helped make him real and honest, which would later make his career special. Growing up on his family's cow ranch, he learned to work hard and love the country life. Both of these things made his music feel real and touched millions of people's hearts. He first got interested in music when he was a teenager and started playing in a garage band. But his love for country music really started when he heard old-time artists like Merle Haggard, George Jones, and Hank Williams. After finishing high school, Strait joined the United States Army in 1971. He was sent to Hawaii to work there. While he was in the Army, he started singing with an Army band called Rambling Country. This band gave him his first real chance to sing in front of live crowds of people. It was also when he was in the Army that he met Norma, his girlfriend from high school. The two got married in 1971. Their strong marriage became one of the most important things in his life. It gave him a steady base to stand on as he chased his dreams. After he left the Army in 1975, Strait went to Southwest Texas State University. Today, it's called Texas State University. He got a degree in farming while still making music on the side. He became the main singer of the Ace in the Hole band. This band played at local honky-tonk bars and slowly built up a group of fans who loved them. Strait's big break came in 1981 when he put out his first single called Unwound. The song quickly went up the charts and told everyone that he had arrived on the country music scene. And unlike many singers of his time who mixed pop and country music together, Strait stayed true to the old honky-tonk sound. He used fiddles, steel guitars, and simple but powerful words in his songs. This promise to stay real touched people who missed the classic country sound. It also made him a leader in the movement to bring back traditional country music in the 1980s. Over the years, he kept making hit after hit. Some of his most famous songs include Amarillo by Morning, All My Exes Live in Texas, Oceanfront Property, and Check Yes or No. During his whole career, George Strait has been more successful than almost any musician in any type of music. He has more than 60 #1 hits on the Billboard country charts. This means he holds the record for the most chart-topping singles by any artist. He has beaten even famous names like Elvis Presley and the Beatles in total chart success. His albums have sold over 100 million copies around the world. This makes him one of the best-selling artists of all time. He has also won many awards. These include multiple Country Music Association CMA Awards, Academy of Country Music ACM Awards, and a Grammy Award. When he was put into the Country Music Hall of Fame in 2006, it proved that he was truly one of the greatest in the genre. But beyond just the numbers, George Strait is loved for being steady, humble, and graceful. Unlike many entertainers who follow whatever is popular, Strait never went too far from his roots. His fans rewarded him with many years of loyalty. He rarely gave interviews or tried to be in the spotlight. Instead, he preferred to let his music speak for itself. On stage, his calm presence was usually dressed in jeans, a cowboy hat, and boots. The tour ended with a historic final show at AT&T Stadium in Arlington, Texas. More than 100,000 fans came together to say goodbye. Strait's life has also been marked by being strong during hard times. He and Norma went through terrible sadness when they lost their daughter Jennifer in a car accident in 1986. Out of respect for keeping their private life private, Strait chose to stop giving interviews after that terrible event. But he kept putting his feelings into his music. To honor his daughter's memory, he and his family later started the Jennifer Lynn Strait Foundation. This foundation helps children's charities in San Antonio, Texas. This act of kindness showed another side of his character. It showed his quiet giving spirit and desire to help others. Even though he's mostly retired, George Strait is still a powerful force in country music. He still makes records sometimes, does occasional shows, and inspires new country artists. Many of today's stars cite him as a major influence. These include G. Brooks and Alan Jackson to Chris Stapleton and Luke Bryan. They look up to him not only for his music, but also for his example of how to handle fame with honesty. George Strait's personal life has always shown the same sense of loyalty and deep family values that are in his music. In December 1971, he made a life-changing decision that showed how devoted he was to the woman who had won his heart. Strait eloped in Mexico with his high school sweetheart, Norma. This choice showed both young spontaneity and the lasting love that would be the foundation of his life for many years to come. The couple had known each other since they were teenagers in Pierrot, Texas. Their romance had survived the uncertainties of youth and Strait's early career goals. By getting married in such a personal and private way, Strait showed that even though he had growing dreams in music, his foundation in life would always be family. The elopement became a cornerstone in his personal story. It marked the beginning of a marriage that would last through good times, bad times, and the pressures of fame. Just a year later, in 1972, George and Norma had their first child. She was a daughter named Jennifer, who was born on October 6th. Becoming a father at a young age while he was still figuring out how to be a musician and serving in the U.S. Army gave Strait a sense of responsibility and purpose. This would shape the rest of his life. Jennifer brought huge joy into their home. She became a treasured part of George and Norma's journey together as they raised their family in Texas. Almost 10 years later, in 1981, the couple made their family bigger again. They had a son named George Harvey Strait Jr., who everyone called Bubba. By then, Strait was starting to find steady success in country music. But no matter how busy his schedule got, he stayed deeply committed to being a husband and father. Bubba's birth completed their family unit. It created a balance in Strait's life between the spotlight of country stardom and the comfort of home life. However, tragedy hit the Strait family in the summer of 1986. Their beloved daughter, Jennifer, was killed in a terrible car accident in San Marcos, Texas, on June 25th. She was only 13 years old. Losing Jennifer was a crushing blow that changed the family's lives forever. George and Norma went through the unimaginable pain of losing a child. The sadness left a lasting mark on Strait's heart. Though he was known for keeping his personal feelings private, people close to him saw the deep grief he carried. The tragedy also changed how he looked at life. It made the realness in his music even deeper, as fans often felt the honesty and heartache behind many of his songs. Instead of letting their grief destroy them, the Strait family chose to honor Jennifer's memory in a meaningful way. After she died, George and Norma started the Jennifer Lynn Strait Foundation. This is a charity organization that helps children's causes throughout the San Antonio area. The foundation became a living tribute to Jennifer's short but meaningful life. Through donations and community outreach, it gave money to children's charities, hospitals, and youth programs. This made sure that Jennifer's legacy was one of hope, compassion, and giving. For George and Norma, the foundation gave them both a way to heal and a way to turn their personal tragedy into something positive that could help countless families. The foundation is still active today. It shows the Strait family's deep commitment to giving back to the community that had supported them for so many years. Their son, George Harvey Strait Jr., or Bubba, grew up to follow a path that showed both the toughness of Texas tradition and the competitive spirit he got from his father. Bubba became deeply involved in the rodeo world. He became a team roping competitor with the Professional Rodeo Cowboys Association, PRCA. His passion for roping showed the same discipline, never giving up attitude, and toughness that had made George's music career special. Though Bubba pursued it in the arena rather than on stage, he also went to college and graduated from Texas A&M University. This respected school further showed the Strait family's values of hard work and dedication. One of the most memorable moments of Bubba's rodeo career came in 2006. George got the chance to sit in the stands and watch his son compete at the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo. This is one of the largest and most important rodeo events in the nation. For Strait, it was a rare chance to step away from the spotlight of his own legendary music career. He could simply take pride in his son's achievements. Shortly after cheering Bubba on in the arena, George himself walked onto the stage at the same event. He performed in front of thousands of fans. He perfectly blended his role as a proud father with his life as a country music icon. The moment captured the special bond between father and son. It brought together two different Texas traditions, rodeo and country music, into one unforgettable experience. For many years, fans of country music have admired George Strait for his quiet, private personality. Like many artists who often share their opinions in public, Strait has always been known as a man of few words. He lets his music and steady career speak for him. But at 73 years old, the king of country finally decided it was time to open up. He wanted to talk about one of the genre's most legendary figures, Willie Nelson. Strait's voice carried the weight of wisdom, humility, and respect as he gave his long-awaited thoughts on a man who not only helped shape country music, but also became a cultural icon. Willie has always been one of those artists who didn't just sing songs, he lived them. Strait began. His words were carefully chosen. There's an honesty in his music that you can't fake. You hear him sing and you believe every word because you know he's lived that life. In this statement, Strait wasn't just talking about Nelson's collection of hits. He was pointing out the raw realness that has made Willie Nelson beloved across generations. While many artists want polished perfection, Nelson's charm has always come from his honesty and storytelling. This is something Strait deeply admires. Strait continued, he never tried to fit into a mold. Nashville had its own way of doing things, and Willie went his own way. That takes courage, and I respect him for it. With this comment, Strait acknowledged a truth that country music historians often repeat. Willie Nelson was never one to bow down to industry expectations. He left Nashville in the early 1970s to help start the outlaw country movement in Texas. His unusual voice and phrasing went against traditional rules. Nelson carved out a career by following his heart. Strait, who himself built a reputation on staying true to traditional country sounds, clearly saw Nelson as someone like him. Both resisted unnecessary change and fought for authenticity. Strait also spoke warmly about Nelson's role as a mentor and friend within the country music family. Willie's always been there for other artists. Strait said, if you were new in town or just needed a little encouragement, he'd take the time. That says a lot about his character. Coming from Strait, an artist who himself has been admired for his humility, these words were especially meaningful. They showed that behind Nelson's fame, there has always been generosity, compassion, and a willingness to give back. Of course, Strait couldn't speak of Nelson without mentioning his influence on American culture. When people think about Texas, they think about Willie. Strait reflected. He's as much a part of this state as the land itself. He carries Texas with him wherever he goes. As two proud Texans who shaped the sound of modern country music, Strait's recognition of Nelson as a living symbol of their shared homeland was especially heartfelt. For Strait, Nelson wasn't just an artist. He was the embodiment of Texas pride, independence, and strength. Finally, Strait concluded his remarks with a touch of personal reverence. I've had the honor of sharing a stage with Willie, and every time I do, I'm reminded that I'm standing next to greatness. He's one of a kind, and we're lucky to have him. In that statement, Strait captured not only his admiration, but also the gratitude felt by millions of fans who continue to treasure Nelson's music. At 73, George Strait's words about Willie Nelson weren't just casual compliments. They were a heartfelt acknowledgement from one legend to another. Strait, a man who rarely indulges in public praise, made it clear that in his eyes, Willie Nelson is not only an icon of country music, but also a symbol of artistic integrity, generosity, and the unshakable spirit of Texas.